Hello everybody, Bad Weather Freak here with another video. Here in this video I'm going to go a little bit more into depth or in depth with 90L. And what is 90L? Well, that's what everybody pretty much is looking at as potentially becoming our first name storm of the 2020 hurricane season. And if it does, that would be Arthur. Now, it seems like Arthur, or I want to call it Arthur already because it's so many people talking about it, and it looks like it's definitely gonna become Arthur. But basically, what I wanted to talk about here is, for the past few days, it has been struggling quite a bit. Let me show you the satellite imagery on it. Today is becoming a little bit better organized. This is actually the radar or the satellite imagery. As you can see, right now it's about parallel with Central Florida. And it started further down. Let me see if I can take a look, and we'll do Atlantic here. Let's do this one. You can see the whole Atlantic. But it started somewhere down here. And even though the waters are pretty warm, it's still struggling to actually get organized. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind, and this is pretty much what might give it fuel, is the fact that the Gulf is very warm right now, and the water temperatures, or what they call the Gulf Stream, which is water that is coming out of the Gulf, it usually kind of comes out of the Gulf and then like that. It's kind of like shoots up into the Atlantic. And that's what's pretty much might give it a little bit of life. I'm expecting that by today we probably have a tropical depression. I know the hurricane hunters have been flying into it. I was reading earlier that they seem like they did find a center of circulation, but they haven't up to now they haven't said anything. Now I have to go, and I will go with you guys and read it because I haven't read the latest update. I think it's at 2 p.m. It's already 2:44, so I have to see what they said. But basically, the Gulf Stream comes out of here, so it's a bunch of water, warm water that comes out of the Gulf, and it shoots back up, into the Atlantic. Well, this is exactly where 90L, which is to become Arthur if he gets a name. That's what basically Arthur or 90L is sitting. Now, something that caught my eye is definitely this right here. That might be something else we're going to track. But right now, let's focus on 90L. And this is the wide view as we go back into where we were earlier. Show the satellite imagery again. And it's starting to show a little bit of signs of development. Wrapping up a little better. You're starting to see all these bands up here. That means it's strengthening, and it's starting to get a little more symmetrical shape. Now let's go ahead and do a forecast model. Let me go ahead and change the region to North Atlantic. But if you look in here, let's go ahead and play it. This is the GFS. And it looked like the GFS, as you saw, it had it developing a little bit. And then looks like it will definitely make landfall in the Carolinas, according to the GFS. And that seems to be the thought that some models are picking that up and bringing it into the Carolinas. So if you guys are in the Carolinas, that will be something to pay attention, especially if you live in the coast of North Carolina or South Carolina, because it looked like that might be the spot where, where it might hit if it makes landfall. Again, we don't know yet, but you can see how it's forming. It kind of like starts forming, goes away, then kind of like resurges again, and then see with a pressure of 998, it makes landfall in the Carolinas. More than anything, with a 998 pressure, it's just going to basically dump a bunch of rain. It's not going to really create major issues. Maybe a little bit localized flooding, depending on how well organized it gets. But this is the GFS. Now, let's take a look at the European model and see what the European model predicts. But as you can see, it shows it Yeah. See, now the European model actually makes it stronger, and it doesn't quite goes into the Carolinas how the GFS has it. Now, if you notice, it kind of goes up, skirts the coast, and then goes back down, and then just dissipates. And this is the GFS. But so far, you have the European. Now you have the European and the GFS kind of doing a very similar track. Let's check the Canadian model. Let me go ahead and speed that up a little bit. Now for the Canadian model, so same thing. So it's interesting how the Canadian model and the European model, they do have a very similar track. It skirts the coast in the Carolinas and then kind of like goes back this way. See how it makes like a loop. And in the other chart, if you see, there was a high pressure building up here, so that's why it seems like it's going to turn it away. Now remember, the high pressure systems, they block the hurricanes or the storms in general. So that's why when you get some hurricanes or some storms coming through here, and you have a strong Bermuda high or a high pressure, they call it Bermuda high because it's near Bermuda. When the Bermuda high is really strong and it moves further south or further this way, it basically makes the storms get closer to land. When the high is weak or is further up or further east, that opens up a spot or like a track, so the storms come through here and kind of curve up and they disappear. That's usually what they do. Now we'll see this year how the Bermuda high is. It's gonna develop, see how strong it is. We know for a fact that we're gonna get a lot of activity coming through here, but we don't know how much, and all depends on this also on the Bermuda high. If it's very strong, we're gonna have a lot of storms come through here, kind of like 2017, where we have multiple hurricanes, and this year is shaping up to be probably one of the worst seasons, in possibly in a long time, if not ever. We will see, because we all know 2004 was very, very active. Now that is what is going on with Nadiel. Now let's go ahead and let's read together the National Hurricane Center, the latest update. As you can see, now it's moved further up as the 2 p.m. advisory. So right now they're saying that the hurricane hunters and satellite images indicate that the low pressure system located just off the coast of East Central Florida has become better defined today. And we saw that. I show you guys how it's kind of wrapping around and looking a little more symmetrical. In addition, the associated showers and thunderstorms continue to gradually organize. If this trend continues, advisory will likely be initiated on this system as a tropical or subtropical depression later today. So a few days ago, I made a video, I think Friday, I think it was, or Thursday. No, I think it was Thursday, where basically they were saying that this was going to form and possibly Friday night or Saturday. Now it seems like it might be tonight, Saturday, late Saturday. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Later in the weekend and early next week, the system is expected to move generally northeastward over the western Atlantic, near or east of the Carolinas. So it might skirt the Carolinas again. We saw some models do that, the European and the Canadian. The system will continue to bring gusty winds and locally heavy rain across portions of East Central Florida through tonight. Interest near North Carolina coast should closely monitor the progress of the system, as it could possibly produce gusty winds and heavy rains there on Monday. A tropical storm watch will likely be issued for that area later tonight. So that's interesting. So there's a big probability that a tropical storm watch might actually be issued. So that's very interesting. If you guys live on that coast in the Carolinas, please pay attention to this. And again, we all have seen many cases where the what's it called? The forecast models, they say, oh, it's gonna go this way, it's gonna go that way, and we all seen many cases where actually it turns completely the opposite. So just saying that it's gonna skirt the coast, but we never know. So if you guys are listening to this video and watching this video, please pay attention. Get ready just in case. Now, so basically we have 100% development chance. So it is a matter of probably time. That is definitely gonna develop. As here in this the same spot I was talking about, but here is the 90L, and this is what pretty much I just read about it. So here you see it, guys. Very, very likely, very high probability this is going to become Arthur. Probably by tonight, maybe tomorrow, latest Monday, I would say. By the time it moves from here to the Carolinas, it has quite a bit of time to finish developing and being a name storm. But we will see. We will see what happens. A little different graph. As you can see, this is the spot that we're looking at. Now, let me look up. You guys remember this website, myfoxhurricane.com. Now here, I like it. Again, we're gonna take a look at the spaghetti models. So let's give it a minute there. Now the spaghetti models will pretty much just show us a bit, pretty much of the track. And if you guys notice, the majority of them are showing it to curve, but there are some models that actually show it very close. The majority are pretty close to the coast. Some of them making landfall on the coast, and then some of them actually curving inward. We have a few actually doing that, and then a good portion of them just kind of going this way. Now we will see. I personally think this is definitely gonna skirt the coast, but it's not gonna make go inward. It's probably gonna be somewhere around here. This is my line of thought. What I think is gonna happen, it will be something like that, and then kind of curve east. But if it's gonna get either very close to the Carolinas, or it potentially can make landfall in the Carolinas. Actually, let's take out another view. This is the cloud convection. So you can see kind of disorganized, but it's slowly getting better organized. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, that's what I have for you regarding 90L potentially becoming our first tropical storm of the season. And if it does, it's going to be named Arthur. Once again, guys, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Like the video and enable that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video. As we get to the close to the beginning of the season, check some of the links I have in my description box. I have some links for different items that are very, very good and very important for you to stay safe. So check it out. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.